What is good, all of our listeners? Welcome to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
I'm Liz.
And we hope you enjoy this episode. You can now enjoy this episode on many different platforms. We are now on Anchor. This episode will be later uploaded to YouTube. And now we are on iTunes, Pocket Casts, Breaker, Stitcher, Radio Public, and as of today, I just got an email saying we're confirmed to this, a new company called Google Podcasts.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
New.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I thought it was for Google Play, right? Like Google Play Music, but they sent me an email like, no, it's not Google Play Music. It is a new app called Google Podcasts.
That's cool.
So they're still setting it up. They say it's still new. So I tried to look for it. I downloaded the app, Google Podcasts. It is an app, so please download it, check it out. And then, not sponsored.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. But I tried to look for our podcast on there, on that platform, but it's still not up. But I do have the confirmation that
It should be up.
It should be
eventually.
Up. So, again, we are on Anchor, YouTube, iTunes, Pocket Casts, Breaker, Stitcher, Radio Public, and now Google Podcasts. And if you don't already, you can get all of these updates and many more updates on our Twitter account at Gaming Groceries. So give us a follow. We'll give you all the updates, including when our episodes will be recorded and when they're uploaded. So, and pictures of our dogs sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Floki. So let's get right into this. Not a ton of gaming news.
Yeah.
Not a ton. Just because this is the week after E3.
Yeah, no one's going to release some interesting thing the week after E3. That would be weird.
Exactly. It's a little dry. There is some, but not a ton. I will say this to our listeners that it's been a pretty long week for us.
Yeah.
Personally. As adults, but that's the point of this podcast, is that you're trying to game in the adult life, and sometimes in life, you just get things that it becomes a really long day, but you still have a passion for gaming. Gaming actually just makes you feel better. Mm-hmm. Like, you come back home, you put on your video games, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe there was a lot of gaming news and I just missed it.
Maybe.
But as far as I know, the biggest one I think of is new information of Fallout 76, right? We got the documentary as we were recording last week's episode. Mm-hmm. It's... that's our dog. It seems a lot more like The Division.
Yeah.
It seems a lot like The Division, and I tweeted about this at Gaming Groceries, where it's very cosmetic. It's a share world, but not a lot of people running around. Mm-hmm. It's both The Division and Fallout 76. Your missions are given to you by a radio, by a machine almost.
Yeah.
And the more I see it, it just looks like The Division, and that's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That it's like Division?
Yeah.
I think it can have some good aspects. I just think it'll be hard for people to adjust to a different platform for Fallout. Because Fallout's never been a, online type game that you can play with other people. It was always a single player game. Mm. And so I just think it'll be very different, and it'll feel very different for people who are Fallout fans.
Yeah, and that's the biggest worry. That's the biggest concern with all of this, is the fact that it's just a different format. Mm-hmm. And I can completely relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
When they said Fallout Online, I'm the type of person that just says, I don't want to play online. Mm-hmm. I want to play single player, and that's why I play games like Fallouts.
Yeah.
So now you're saying, I don't want to play multiplayer. I want to go to Fallout. Oh, wait. Fallout's not online now?
Yeah.
And the same with Elder Scrolls. I love Elder Scrolls, and I will be honest to you, listener, I have not touched ESO. I have not touched Elder Scrolls Online just because I'm so bitter. I play Elder Scrolls for the single player aspect. I have not touched Elder Scrolls Online because of that.
Yeah.
And I have a couple friends, including our friend Kevin, who was over. He plays Elder Scrolls. No, it's like Skyrim, but everybody's running around. I'm like, that's the problem.
I don't want to see everybody.
I don't want to see everybody. I want to run into people in Whiterun and say, like, oh, why are you running, sir? And it's like the NPCs.
Yeah.
They keep talking to me.
Oh, yeah.
But no, like, and I completely understand with this Fallout 76. But the more I watched this documentary, the more I felt comfortable.
Yeah, because Pete Hines, he keeps saying.
Depends what the quote will be.
Well, the one with the hair.
Pete Hines. The one with the hair.
He's got like swoopy hair.
Yep.
So like Pete Hines keeps saying, he says that yes, it's online, but you can play by yourself.
That's Todd Howard.
Todd Howard. See, I was wrong.
They both have like swoopy hair, as you explain it.
Really?
Well, I mean, Pete Hines has spiky hair, and
well, yeah, and then
Todd Howard
has the swoopy hair.
Swoop.
It like waves.
Yes, that's Todd Howard.
Okay, so Todd Howard, but he was saying
the glorious
that,
slushes.
yes. But he was saying how you can play by yourself. Yes, there'll be other people in that world, but the chances of you running into them are very slim just because the map is so big. So, yes, it's an online game, but I think the people who want to play it alone will still feel okay because you're really probably not going to run into the other 12 people that are in that same map as you. But then for the people who do like online, you can play with your friends. Like, you can all join in the same map and go.
And that's the problem with your friends. Like, you're a private party with your friends to go into it. I just learned this information from Fallout YouTube creators. They're saying that it could be difficult making Fallout 76 content because I didn't know this. Maybe I just didn't pay attention to the documentary. But when you pull up the map on Fallout 76, you can actually see other players' icons of where they are on the map. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, because then you can know if you really want to play alone, you really don't want to run into people, just don't go to don't go to that area. And
I'm assuming there's no fast travel. So let's say you see a person on the other side of the map and say, like, I want to kill that person. And you just fast travel to that person.
That's true, yeah.
And he's just like...
That would be something you'll have to wait and see.
But the reason why Fallout 76 are creators, people like Juice Head, Mr. Matty Plays, Lone Ball Wanderer, like Camel Works, these people, they're concerned because people will see their icons and they'll say, oh man, like I want to join his video, so they'll just like bother him.
Yeah.
It's a lot like a newscaster.
Yeah.
You know? So I can see that. I can see both the pros and the cons.
But I mean, you have to think that type of problem for people who, you know, have that problem where people are like trying to find them on the games and stuff, that's their whole life.
Yeah.
You know, that happens with any game. Anyone who, you know, is famous for playing a certain game or on a certain platform, that's going to be their problem no matter where they go.
Well, that was the problem with Agent 00.
Yeah, that was just the thing that like, people are always looking for him on 2K.
Yeah, because you know, because he makes the videos, he shows his PSN name.
Yeah.
He actually had a video of like him. Oh my goodness, dog.
He's going.
Bye bye. Because like he shows his PSN account whenever he goes to the court. People see his name and they're just like, "Yo, Agent, what up?" So he can't make any content.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's true for any creator.
Yeah.
And I understand that I understand that they're saying that will be harder, but at the same time, it comes with any game. It comes with any online game. But yeah, that's what we have for Fallout 76. I just got my beta code. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
But I'm really stoked. Because here's the thing, I thought of this once I put in the beta code. to confirm it. By the way, anybody who got the beta code, and I texted my wife this. I told her, it felt like I was applying for a mission, like a Mission Impossible mission, because once I put in the beta code, it says, "Thank you. You will be emailed with further information."
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, like I'm not saying verbatim, but it sounded like "Thank you for this. You will be emailed at a later date with further instructions." I'm like,
yeah.
what did I sign up for? But here's the real reason why I'm stoked. It's a beta. And what does betas mean? What do betas mean? That's the question.
It's only part of the game.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not just part of the game. It's a game. It's almost like a game preview.
Yeah, so it's not, I don't know.
It's not complete, right?
Yeah.
What do we know best about Bethesda Game Studios games? Their flaws.
Yeah.
Like their glitches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Their glitches are fun.
Their glitches are amazing. And here's the thing. I am going to be entering a beta for a Bethesda Game Studios game, which is known for their glitches on fully fledged games. I am going to see so many amazing glitches. I'm going to put them on Twitter if I find any.
You got to record all of them, even the minor ones. Just record them all.
I have to, because...
maybe we can make our own top 10 glitches from just you playing.
Yeah, top 10 glitches. But yeah, I actually made 2 of the top 10 glitches on Game Ranks.
You did.
For any listeners, I made in the top 10 for Kingdom Come Deliverance and Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
So,
and both of them were so funny.
Yeah, it's so weird. But anyways, that's what we have for Fallout 76. I'm very excited to play the beta. They haven't messaged me about when the beta will be. We're thinking mid-August.
Yeah.
Or they said July 4th. I doubt that.
Why would they make it a holiday that no one can play on?
Well, because it has everything to do with the tercentennial.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, I don't know. I just release it the day before or the day after. No one's gonna be able. I mean, yeah, you'll get the few people who will play on the 4th, but some people are so busy on the 4th. Why do you do that?
Viewers, you don't see me, but I'm raising my hand. I will play it on July 4th. And it's like, oh, you have...
You don't know if I might have plans for us.
I have plans.
No.
Fallout 76.
You don't get an option.
Fallout.
No.
See, you hear that airplane? That's me traveling to Fallout 76. But yeah. So, I think this is a good transition to get into the topic that's probably will be the title of this podcast. Mm-hmm. Gaming unites us.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect segue because we're talking about Fallout 76, about how it was a single-player game just by yourself, and now it's online, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I really like about this Fallout 76. I love how I can share my Fallout love with other people.
Yeah, that's true.
I can actually talk about my Fallout 76 settlements with other friends, and I'll like talk to people like, hey man, do you play Fallout 76? I actually pre-ordered a Fallout 76 t-shirt just so I could wear it around, and if anybody asks like, yo, do you play Fallout 76? I'm like, yeah, what platform? And we'll like exchange gamer tags, and then we can play Fallout 76 together. Although I only play with my friends, I don't play with strangers. Stranger danger. But
still live by that code, 27.
I still live by that code. Stranger danger. If you have me on my gamer tag, stranger danger. But we just want to talk a little bit about how gaming unites us and how people mess with that. When I mean people who don't play games. They haven't played games since the original Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like where they say, oh, video games. What do you mean, Mario?
Yeah, like isn't that for kids?
Isn't it for kids?
No, that's why there's a rating system.
That's why. Yeah, it's rated M for a reason. That's a different topic. Let's not.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
That'll be a whole other podcast.
But I wanted to talk. We wanted to talk a little bit about how gaming unites us as human beings, right? And I think the best example, Liz and I, we went with our friend Kevin, who visited us. He said, "Hey, there's a Pokemon Go community. He plays Pokemon Go. I don't anymore." And for anybody listening, saying, "Why don't you play Pokemon Go?" I like my phone's battery.
Yeah, that thing killed your battery when you played.
And they'll say, "Oh, it's better. Oh, you gotta put battery back." I just don't play Pokemon Go. I understand why you're playing it. I just don't play it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Liz did not think that anybody played Pokemon Go anymore. Because when Kevin said, "Hey, it's a community day, can we go?" You're thinking in your head, who plays Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize I don't play Pokemon Go anymore just because, like, we know younger kids who say, like, oh, we don't play that anymore, and Adam stopped playing it, so, like, I didn't really know anyone who still played it.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned in last week's podcast, I am a youth pastor, so I'm always...
Loki.
Itchy dog.
Yeah, pardon him. He has mosquito bites.
Yeah, we have mosquitoes all over our backyard. But, I'm a youth pastor. I'm keeping up with the trends. I don't think any of my kids play Pokemon Go.
I mean, they talk about it, but they don't play it really anymore, except for, like, maybe one of them.
But, yeah, so she said, I didn't know anybody played Pokemon Go anymore. And we go to the community day. We go to a local park. And to our surprise, not just, a good amount of people are playing it. A lot of people are playing it.
Almost like half the park was playing it. It's a big park.
What would you say? 250 people were there?
Probably.
250, 300 people.
Walking around playing Pokemon Go. And you could tell who was playing and who wasn't.
Yeah.
A good portion of the majority had Pokemon attire on. So
yeah.
You definitely knew that they were playing, but you could just tell by the way they were holding their phones, what they were doing. Like, you could just tell that everyone you came in contact with was playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You could tell, and the surprising part, it was not just people my age or younger, but it was every single age.
Yeah, like there was actually a lot of like father-son or
Yeah.
like father-child, type of situations that it was nice to see at least they're doing some sort of bonding time with their kids or their spouse. Like, there were spouses there, too. There was a lot of couples there, too. So it was that, you're playing this game and you're staring at your phone, but you're still spending that quality time with your family or significant other. So that was really interesting to see. Because I didn't realize, like, people did that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Not everybody realizes that. And the worst part is that you'll see older people there. Well, not you'll. The news. High media people. What would you call them?
Newscaster?
Yeah, newscasters. Why not?
Journalists?
Those people. They'll see this, and they'll see older people, and they'll say, pedophile. Like, look out, children. There's going to be pedophiles everywhere. And it annoys everything out of me.
Yes.
Just because, why can't anybody just say, hey, Pokemon Go creates a community, and not only creates a community, but betters humanity.
Yeah.
And yes, I am sure there's some pedophiles.
Oh, yeah.
But the percentage, the ratio...
They just want to play a game.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They just want to play Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Right? And the news will twist this around, say, oh, people over 40 who have a Pokemon shirt on,
yeah,
obviously pedophile.
Yeah.
And they don't really focus on the idea that it's creating friendships, right? Yeah. And that's what bothers me, right? Most people, right, who are outside of gaming, and you can attest to this, will say that, you're in solitude. You really don't interact with anybody else. I've heard some parents come up to have concerns with me, saying like, "Hey man, he's not interacting with his friends. The only time he interacts with his friends is when he's on Fortnite.
It's all right, but so he's talking to his friends more than I did. Because I remember when we were younger, we couldn't talk to our friends over a video game thing.
You could.
Well, yeah, but... Yeah. Like, it was harder to contact your friends when we were 12.
Yeah.
We had to be
the
on
GameCube
the phone. We didn't have those types of systems. You had the phone and you had AIM.
Yeah. I'm looking at my PS2 right now. I don't see anywhere I can hook up a headset.
Yeah.
But it was different. You could do couch co-op. Go over your friend's house
but that's the thing, like, parents don't realize that. They think, like, oh, they're not interacting with their friends, they only do it on their video game. Like, that's great, you know exactly where your child is, and he's still talking to people. What's the difference between him sitting in his bedroom playing the video game with a friend, or sitting in his friend's bedroom playing a video game right next to his friend? There's no difference except for you know exactly where your child is. In fact,
know exactly where your child is.
It's safer for them to be playing it on their, in their own bedroom doing this than that, because you don't know.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing, is that if I were a parent, the places I went when I was their age, my mom didn't know where I was at the time. I would figure that parents would like it that they're interacting with their friends in a place where they know where they are. Where did he get that?
The corner.
Oh my goodness, dog. And that's the problem, right? Whenever we talk about whenever we talk about kids playing video games too much and they only interact with their friends online, that's the only time they interact. And I just say, good. I don't know. I don't want to say good. That's the only way they can interact with friends, but at least they're interacting with their friends in some manner.
Yeah, at least they're not sitting in their room playing video games by themselves. They're still interacting with other people.
Yeah, and that's the thing about they're interacting.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
They might not be interacting with you, but they're interacting with someone.
I mean, if anybody listening to this podcast has probably played an online game in some manner with a friend. And they always say, oh, this game is much better with friends. And that's so true, because you're interacting with your friend in a different kind of realm, a different kind of world. And that's why I'm excited about Fallout 76, is that I'm on the same mission with my friend, and me and my friend are doing this mission. Yeah. And it just, bonds us a little bit.
Yeah. And and you'll have the parents who are like, yeah, they're talking to someone, but I don't know who they're talking to. They could be talking to some stranger. Yeah. Because that was the big thing when we were younger with AIM. They were like, kids are meeting and talking to whoever they want. Then if you're really concerned about that, just put the gaming system in the living room or in a common area in the house. Yeah. And then you'll know who they're talking to. You can at least hear the conversation. Yeah. So I think it's still better for them to be playing online with their friends than who knows where. Yeah.
And we can save this topic for another day. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that these games, whether I like Fortnite or not, and that's not the case, I don't. But whether or not I enjoy Fortnite or not, I have to agree that it's uniting so many different people. Yeah. It's getting interactions with people. It's getting people talking to each other, right? They'll talk about their Fortnite wins. Yeah. They'll talk about what they did in Fortnite, or better yet, E3 just passed, right? I had a friend from the church over, and all we did was just talk about video games. Yeah. And it was so awesome that it was an awesome feeling for me, and I think it was an awesome feeling for him. I don't want to speak for him. Yeah. Where we finally got that chance to talk to somebody who understood video games like we understood it, and we didn't get looks like, oh, man-child. Yeah. So it just feels awesome when it's just you talk about frustrations or excitements about video games. It's another thing to talk about. And the other part is that when you're a grown man, what's the thing you're supposed to talk about with your guy friends? Football. Sports. Basketball. Beer. Alvin and the Chipmunks. No. Oh, I've been doing it wrong. And that's the thing, is just you're supposed to talk about these topics, not these topics.
Yeah.
But I don't see a difference in the interaction. I only see a difference in unity
Yeah.
with video games and sports. Now, granted, I've made a lot of friendships through talking with sports.
Yeah.
If you haven't already know, huge Eagles fan. So I interact with a lot of people here out in New York. I always say, "Go Eagles," and then
they punch you in the face.
Then they unite their fists with my face. I've made a lot of friends with sports talk, but at the same time, I made a lot of friends talking video games.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think anybody really understands the unity that comes with it. Or the topics that come into play, or just playing a game with one another. So much so that I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast that we had a pretty long week.
Yeah.
Long
week meaning the past 3 days that have felt like a week.
Mm-hmm. We had a broken down car, and long story short, we had to get our vehicle towed home. Now, if anybody listening has ever had their car towed by a car tow person, car tower, vehicle mover, strongman, and you're in the truck with that person, you're just like, thanks.
And it wasn't a short drive. It was 30 miles. It was an hour in the car with this stranger.
Yeah. So you just start to think of how do I talk to this person?
I promise I'm not
weird,
irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because you kind of think these people are like, oh, what did this idiot do to their car? You know?
And so me and my wife were in the car, and I was wearing my Nuka-Cola shirt, and I just thought of them like, video games. And we were talking for a little bit by small talk, and I just brought up, I knew he liked cars. We talked about how much he liked cars, and I looked down at my Nuka-Cola shirt, and I just said, hey man, do you like Forza? And he just, started the conversation, saying I don't have a lot of time to play video games anymore. And he started to say, what video game I really liked? Dirt. You remember Dirt? I was like, yeah, I remember Dirt. He's like, yeah, Dirt was great. Didn't remember Forza too much. And we started to talk about how much we hated Fortnite, how much we didn't understand it. But it was a topic that got us really talking.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, why do you think gaming unites us? What is it about video games that unites people?
I think it's one, because it's so, like you were saying, it's so hard to find people who are willing to. That's
true.
Who play it. It's so hard to try and find people that play it and will talk about it and not look at you like you're a child when you talk about it. So I think that's one thing. When you find another gamer, it's like, oh my gosh, my long lost sibling.
Yeah, it's like when a dog sees another dog.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, they exist too?
Yeah.
What kind are you? You know what I mean? So I think it's that. It's just the how rare it is. I think that's what makes it so special when you find other people who are willing to admit that they play and enjoy video games. And we actually learned a lot about this guy. Not only did he enjoy video games before he ran out of time to play them, but when he does get the time, he plays with his sons.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. People don't realize that this is still something you can pass down to your kids and play with them. So, and I think that was really nice to hear that he plays video games with his 17-year-old son and he plays game with his 5-year-old son. Yeah. And I just think that, that's a huge thing, that there's a game out there that a father and his 5-year-old son can play together and enjoy, and a game that a father and his 17-year-old son can play and enjoy. It doesn't have to be some dinky kid game that you're playing with your 5-year-old.
Yeah.
It can be something that's still interesting, and, so I think that's what makes video games unify, is just that the rarity that when you find them, it's like family, and now you're connected by this small group.
Yeah. That definitely unifies you, because and that's the crappy part. And again, saving this for another topic, the fact that you have to use that and you have to use that phrase, for someone to admit that they play video games. It's just you're a grown adult and you play, but that's another topic.
Yeah, we'll have to make that another time of just
maybe next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to admit that you play video games.
Yeah.
Yes, I play video games. I'm 27 years old. I play video games.
I got a video game for my birthday last year.
Wait, what did I do? Oh, yeah, you
Remember, it came out on my birthday.
That's right. Yeah. Sims?
No.
No. Oh, Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Before the Storm. The first episode came out on my birthday.
On your birthday.
On my birthday.
Actually, this Tuesday is going to be Captain Spirit.
This comes out this Tuesday?
I believe so, yes.
Isn't today Tuesday?
No, next Tuesday.
Okay.
Today's Tuesday.
I was going to say today's Tuesday.
So next podcast, we'll play a good amount of
Yeah,
Captain
we can
Spirit.
talk about that, definitely.
And we'll talk about that. So that'll be next week's topic of Captain Spirit.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think going back to gaming unifies us. I think gaming really unifies us because every person's story is different, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, I interact with somebody who has a Fallout shirt on.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, you like Fallout? I like Fallout. I like Nuka-Cola. Yum, yum, yum. But here's the difference between sports talk and video game talk, right? Mm-hmm. With sports talk, the only thing that really you can talk about is like, did you see that touchdown? I saw that touchdown. Did you see the same touchdown I did?
Yeah, like you're talking about, you can only talk about so much with sports because you all saw the same thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas in video games, you can talk about what you did, whereas another person did something else. You can talk about the hilarious glitch that you got, and the other guy got a completely different glitch.
Yeah, and we can talk about the choices we made. Like Fallout 4 in an example. Mm-hmm. Did you kill Dance or did you let him go?
Yeah. Or even in the story games like Life is Strange. Mm-hmm. The choices in that can change. You can play. Yeah. You can have two people play an entirely different game based on one decision.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a really good example.
Yeah. In fact, I talk about this game all the time. Listeners, you will have me talk about this game until the end of this podcast series ever. Oxenfree.
Oh my goodness!
I will talk about Oxenfree till the day I die. You can have so many different interactions with that game. Whenever I get somebody to play Oxenfree, I finally get them to play Oxenfree. They're like, "Wow, that was a really good game." I'm like, "No, you need to play it again.
You need to play it at least 3 times.
At least 3 times." Because here's the thing.
By the time you get to the 3rd, you'll want to play more anyway. So
exactly. I've 100% of the game. I've done everything that I can in the game. Maybe someday I'll stream me playing Oxenfree just to get all of my listeners to play Oxenfree. Like, you need to play Oxenfree.
Yes, you do.
But the thing I could talk about with Oxenfree is that, like, hey man, did you do a second playthrough? Because when you do a second playthrough of Oxenfree, it becomes a whole different story. Mm-hmm. Because you'll go in the main menu and you'll see continue timeline. And you'll say, what is that? And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say that it's a completely different story. It's the same story, quote unquote.
But there's different things that happen, and it's fascinating.
Yeah. And that's the thing that is different between sports talk and gaming talk is that you can talk about the choices you made. You can talk about the missions you did.
You're part of the story, whereas you just watch the game.
You watch the game. And I'm not trying to down talk sports because...
Oh, no, because, I mean, you do that too.
I do plenty of sports talk. But you just talk about statistic, you talk about the same game that you just saw, you talk about how...
who got traded.
Yeah, who got traded. It's the same story. Whereas with video games, you get a different story every single time.
Yeah.
Not every single time, I shouldn't say that. There's some games that just like...
That's the story, that's it.
Yeah, Gone Home.
Yeah.
I did not touch Tacoma because if it's as bad as Gone Home, I just can't. Well, like, I won't say that Gone Home is bad. It's just that the ending was just so...
disappointing.
So disappointing. It's just like, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's just like, oh.
Okay.
That was it. Cool. Thanks, Gone Home. So, Tacoma might be the same thing. But yeah, I just think it's very important for everyone that I interact with of telling them how much good that video game does for humanity.
Yeah.
in terms of uniting people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like I can't stand people who shame others for game interactions. I'm actually going to go to Long Island Gaming
Long Island Retro Gaming Convention.
Thank you. I'll actually be attending Long Island Retro Gaming Convention, and I've been telling people at my job, like, hey, I'm going to a convention in August.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, what for? Oh, video game convention, retro video game convention.
Yeah.
And they'll look at me like, oh, so all you're going to do is talk about video games for 2 days? And I say, yep. And that's the thing. It's just like, when video games unite people, when it gets people talking to one another,
Mm-hmm.
when it gets people to stop killing each other, I don't know. I don't think there should be any shame behind that.
No.
I just don't understand the concept people have where they just say, oh, these people are talking about video games. They're not grown men.
Yeah.
They need to grow up.
Yeah.
And none of them have, people who say that haven't played a video game since Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Or they'll just see games like Splatoon or something like that.
Yeah, like they see the kid games or the gimmicky games and assume that that's all games.
So they'll say that like, oh, these people are talking about video games, so they're children. When in all actuality, they're talking about Skyrim or Fallout.
Yeah.
Or something else besides a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
I talk about a lot of Bethesda games. So, excuse me while I say that. And I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're saying that like, oh, all you're doing is repeating yourself.
Yeah.
But I can't stand the concept where people are just all the time saying, oh, no one should talk about video games when you're adults.
Yeah.
In fact, I said to somebody that like, oh, I watched E3 with a friend, and he didn't know what E3 was, and so I explained it to him like, oh, you have to really be into video games to watch it, don't you? I'm like, yes and no. You can just watch E3. In fact, I got a student who did not know about E3, and he's not really into video games, and he saw it, and he saw how spectacular video games can be, in that kind of community. So, to end our discussion, I will say that with the unity of video games, there's always toxic people.
Oh, yeah.
There's always toxic people. And that's where I think these people get this idea from, that talking about video games is for children, because these toxic people can be, lack of a better word, childish.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. That whenever you talk about video games, they start to become elitist about things.
Yeah.
Or they'll just look at you smug because you don't play video games, or the right video games.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
They're video game snobs.
Mm-hmm. But yes, there's toxic people in every sort of media outlets, right?
Yeah.
It's in sports,
Oh, yeah.
I cannot tell you enough about toxic people in sports talk. It's absolutely annoying, where like if you don't know the right statistic, then your opinion doesn't matter.
You can't be a real sports fan if you don't know every player and all their stats.
Yeah, you don't know every player and their middle names and what their dogs' names are.
Like, I just like to watch the game. I enjoy watching the game. Like, I don't need to know everybody's name to be a fan.
Exactly. Like, whenever I watch a Flyers game, it's like, oh, who's the defenseman's name? I can't remember.
Some crazy European name.
Some crazy European. Like Shane Gostisbehere.
Exactly.
Yeah, but actually he's American.
Well, it's still a European
It's
last
still
name.
European. Ghost Bear,
Yeah.
as they call him.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's just like, there's toxic people in sports talk, just like there's toxic people in gaming.
Yeah.
But you just have to get past that, you know? Not everybody in the gaming community is toxic. In fact, I feel like it's a very small percentage.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know? And it always is. Like, the loudest people are the toxic minority.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, you'll just say, like, oh, you know, I can't talk about this gaming community because there's too many toxic people. I'm like, no, there's not too many. There's plenty of other people who are good, but they shut their mouths when need be. It's the toxic people that just keep talking.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like we can end our discussion there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to drag this on too much, but my challenge for you is that if you haven't talked to somebody about your gaming hobby, like, go out there, find somebody who likes gaming, and just keep talking.
Bring it up in conversation till someone doesn't turn you down.
Doesn't turn you down. Because the one thing that we have for this podcast, the one goal, is we don't want anybody to feel like they're alone.
Yeah.
Right? We want people to hear this podcast and let them know that, like, we're adults. We play video games.
We'll be your friend.
We'll be your friend. Follow us on Twitter at Gaming Groceries. We'll be your friend. But that's the thing, is that, like, bring it up in conversation. Talk to somebody about gaming. If you want to interact with me, send me a tweet at Gaming Groceries. Let's talk gaming. Yeah. I love talking to people about video games just because it's such an awesome feeling just to talk about my frustrations, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to feel like they're alone in the world or they're shamed just because they play video games, just because of their hobby. Mm-hmm. Don't isolate yourself, man. Like, you're not alone. You're an adult. You play video games. It's fine. Don't think of yourself like a child.
Yeah.
Unless you play Mario. No, I'm just kidding.
Mario's fun. Be quiet.
Mario's fun. But there's people in the community that talk about Mario, and they're so passionate about that.
Oh, yeah.
You're not alone in that.
Yeah.
You know?
Find others who are.
Find others who are. In the same way where I play Bethesda games, that's why I always subscribe to Bethesda YouTube creators. Mm-hmm. I'm always talking to people about Bethesda, right? I'm always talking about Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind. I'm not talking about ESO. We're going to just bury that into the ground. But find somebody that you know talks about gaming and just talk to them. Go to a convention with them, whether it be like E3 or if you're in a Long Island area, try to find me. I'll probably be wearing a Games and Groceries t-shirt if I make one. Yeah. But yeah, if you go to the Long Island Retro Gaming Convention, talk to people about games there, you know?
Yeah.
It's I don't think it's that hard to find, because here's where people miss the line where they say nobody plays video games anymore. I believe, and I might be getting this number wrong, but I believe the gaming industry is a $30 billion corporation.
Something like that.
Something like that. $30 billion.
So there are people out there playing, trust me.
There are people out there playing video games. You're not alone. Just shout out at your workplace. If you work in a cubicle, just go on top of your desk and just be like, I play Fallout. And they'll be like, no one cares. But somebody's going to be like, I play Fallout. I play Fallout as well. Buy a Fallout tie just to see what happens.
See who notices.
Yeah. Or if you don't like Fallout, buy a Mario tie. See what happens.
I'm sure there are plenty of those.
Yeah, right? Actually.
No.
Oh. I'm going to be finding a Fallout tie pretty soon.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, bunch of Vault Boys on my tie.
Oh dear.
Going up to preach a sermon.
You don't even wear ties.
Well, I'll preach in my next sermon with
okay.
Yeah, with a Pip-Boy tie.
Oh no.
If I find a Pip-Boy tie, or a Pip-Boy, oh man, this has long enough we get a Vault Boy tie. If I find a Vault Boy tie, right, I will wear that. I will preach in that.
And you will all get a picture of it.
You will get a picture of it. If not, maybe a Nuka-Cola tie.
Some sort of Fallout tie.
I will take a picture of it. I will put it on Twitter.
Yep.
But I think that's all we have for today. We don't want to drag on this conversation too much.
Yeah.
Because we are both tired. It's been a long week. But we just want to talk to you about gaming. We want to come back to the community and just talk about gaming news, gaming topics. Next week we'll talk more about Captain Spirit.
Yep.
We'll probably talk more about gaming news. I'll talk to you about any updates I get about Fallout 76.
Yep.
I am so stoked for Fallout 76, more than I should be. And once I get my Fallout 76 t-shirt, I may put a Twitter picture up.
Yeah.
Because I'll be so proud of it.
Yeah.
I like my Fallout 76.
Yes, you do.
I'm so excited for that shirt.
I know.
More than the game. Alright, so if I haven't mentioned it already, you can find this podcast on Anchor, YouTube, iTunes, Pocket Casts, Breaker, Stitcher, Radio Public, and now Google Podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Gaming Groceries. Please send me some tweet where you say, I play video games. I'm an adult and I play video games. And I will say, me too. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
You know? And if it's not me, find somebody who does. You know?
Yeah.
I am more than happy to talk about video games. Just ask my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
What's that?
Just, gotta make this conversation longer. But what would be cool is if what you could do is put on your Twitter, I play video games, and then hashtag gaming groceries.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, just announce it to the world. What my wife just said with, oh, you have to admit it, Just put on your Twitter feed, I play video games, hashtag games and groceries, And if you go on our Twitter and you go in the header, games and groceries, it just means talking about games and being adults, So, I play video games, hashtag games and groceries.
Yep, and we'll look for them.
We will look for that. All right, until next week, thank you for listening. This has been another episode of Games and Groceries. I'm Adam.
And I'm Liz.
We will see you next week. Game on.